Everybody, welcome back to the Monday Night Raw review from tonight's show. I'm only going to be breaking down the most important stuff from SummerSlam because, to be honest with you, we had a lot of matches become official for SummerSlam, and I don't really feel like talking about the filler because I just feel like that would be a waste of time during the YouTube video. No disrespect to anybody else, but the Raw tonight started with the Judgment Day, of course, because the Judgment Day, I swear on my life, the Judgment Day have been all over TV this week and last week. If I would love to know how much time the Judgment Day have had on TV between the last 2 weeks. But Sami and KO, who I think, I thought we're guaranteed to be defending the titles against Dom and Damian Priest at SummerSlam. Now it's not going to happen. I'll let you know why in a minute. But this was a fun little segment, KO freaking the hell out. He's just sick of the Judgment Day running around acting like they own the place. It was just a fun segment. But Sami Zayn, we got Sami Zayn versus Dom for the North American title. Something that just I would have never thought would have happened, but it did happen. And I just love, the heat on Dom. Kevin Owens saying that, no one wants to hear you speak. KO thinking what we're all thinking. And Dom is just, getting mad about it. Dom knows that he's that annoying, but he just, every time he speaks, the crowd just boos over him. And it seems he's so over as a heel. It's like every crowd knows exactly what to do. Even a bad crowd boos Dom heavily. But next up, we got a match impacting SummerSlam. So Becky versus Zoe Stark, with the implication that Becky can face Trish at SummerSlam if she won. Of course, Becky won. We get Becky versus Trish at SummerSlam. I hope this rivalry is over after SummerSlam. Becky needs someone else on the Raw roster. If it's Zoe Stark, fine. If it's Trish, if they feud past SummerSlam, Becky and Trish, everyone's gonna lose interest. I think Becky needs a younger person on the roster. Zoe, someone else. Becky versus Rhea would be maybe an early tease of Becky and Rhea. Something else. Because I feel like Becky and Trish is just rapid fire losing interest. You can only do so much in a build. And, obviously, there's been a big time gap in between the first Becky match and the second Becky and Trish match. So, hopefully at SummerSlam this is all wrapped up with. Next up, we had Cody Rhodes, and we thought we were going to step. Cody Rhodes just coming out and speaking. We're like, all right, Cody Rhodes, it's time to name a stipulation. And Cody Rhodes comes out, and as you guys can see, instead of, obviously, WWE did not waste any time replacing Twitter with X, which I think, by the way, Elon Musk has no idea how to run Twitter. Just, the man just immediately just, puts it out there. Elon doesn't know how to run Twitter. Let's all just face facts. Elon has no idea how to run a social media platform. Great car and SpaceX guy, but running a social media platform isn't for him. But Cody Rhodes came out, was talking about how he wants to hurt Brock. So we got this sort of side of Cody, which Brock Lesnar has annoyed him to the point where Brock wants to hurt him, and that was good. I like that. Cody Rhodes admittedly has been a little soft, and after getting beat up in front of his family, Cody realized that Brock just doesn't give a fuck. And I think Cody realizes that as well. But we didn't get a stipulation. And I know that obviously WWE is treating this match as a big deal. It's one of the main events of SummerSlam. So WWE's probably just, playing with us. We're going to get it next week. Brock Lesnar shows up. You can't have another Brock and Cody brawl. I mean, you can, but we gotta have we gotta have Brock and Cody on the mic, jabbing at each other. That needs to happen next week. We don't want another brawl, because we've seen Cody and Brock brawl for 2 months now. So, it's time to name a stipulation in probably a bull rope match. If you guys don't know what this is, it's a bull rope that you freely use during the match. It's brutal. There's going to be scars, which, I mean, obviously, yes, because of the Cody and Brock rivalry, so. Next up, we have the North American title match between Sami Zayn and Dom. This was a very good match. And Dom has just been getting better. You know, his match with Wesley was great before obviously the interference. Um, but Dom versus Sami Zayn, I didn't know how this match was gonna go. It kind of came out of nowhere, and the match was great. Sami Zayn is fighting on all cylinders right now. It was a fun watch, and then Sammy. There's some moments where Sammy made you believe that he was gonna become brand new North American champ, and then the Judgment Day played spoiler again. Damian and Rhea just attacked Kevin Owens, threw him out to the entrance ramp, and Sami Zayn got distracted enough for Dirty Dom, to pick up the roll-up win. And to me, the finish, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, this is prime Judgment Day. Judgment Day interfered, Dom gets the roll-up. If this was any other Judgment Day member, they're not winning via roll-up. But of course, it's Dom. He's got to win by roll-up. So I understand that. The match was good. I thought it was a very solid addition to Monday Night Raw. I just love how Dom's North American title reign is starting. Like, WWE, like, Wesley was, like, the best North American champion ever. And I'm not comparing it to Dom by any means. But so far, it's out to a very defending start. Like, the North American title is supposed to be. And I'm sure that Sean is pretty happy that the North American title is being defended on all the shows. Putting it out there, putting the exposure out there. But, yeah. Some not good news, though, regarding Kevin Owens, because we thought, this was definitely a kayfabe KO injury, and this was going to be a perfect setup for KO and Sammy versus Priest and Dom. But no, KO is actually legitimately hurt. Now, this was by Worth Wrestling over on Twitter. This is where I found this out. And I hope that he isn't out for long, because KO and Sammy are having a great reign right now, and obviously I think they were going to hold the titles past SummerSlam, and there was a good chance that they were going to make a run to maybe make it to WrestleMania with the titles. But, if KO's out for a while, then that is devastating. Like, that is unexpectedly devastating. If KO isn't out a long time, I think obviously the titles need to stay on KO and Sammy, but if they're out a long time, this is just so devastating for the best tag team in WWE right now, and debatably the best tag team in wrestling. Next up, just a little bit of a graphic update here. This is the graphic for Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. It's a tribal combat match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Obviously, that basically is a way to say it's a no DQ match. After that, we got Liv Morgan. So, Liv Morgan, we thought was healthy. Liv versus Rhea is a PLE-worthy match, and it got set up for Monday Night Raw tonight. And, Liv's making her entrance, we're all set. And then Rhea Ripley attacks Liv, and I mean, she came at her like she wants to end her career, which pretty much was Rhea's goal. And Rhea just, again, like Dom, Rhea just skyrockets her heel every time she goes out there. Every time she goes out there, Rhea just wants to lift up her heel work, and she does it tremendously. Rhea took a steel chair to the shoulder, which was the rumored injury in the first place for Liv, and obviously I didn't believe it, because I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way Liv would be actually injured if they put her in the ring with Rhea. But WWE made me think otherwise now. Rhea stomped on the chair, and they're doing a storyline where Liv's shoulder is basically almost out of her body. And this is, to me, a lot. People are saying a movie. I have no idea if Liv already did the movie or not. But if Liv is legitimately hurt, this sucks, because she just got back. And I really don't want Liv to be injury prone, because she's one of the best women's stars, and personally one of my favorite women's stars to watch in a match on the roster. This would be devastating, and obviously I think Raquel and Rhea is going to be set up next week on Raw. It has to happen. I mean, this has to be the gateway to Raquel versus Rhea at SummerSlam. Next up, Ricochet versus Logan Paul gets set at SummerSlam. Ricochet cut a nice-ass promo. Logan played local douche number one, and Logan Paul also roasted a guy in the front row of the crowd. He called him a stupid virgin, which literally caught me by surprise. I literally laughed out loud. I wasn't expecting Logan to be able to say that on TV, but I love Logan for that. And Logan Paul's heel character right now is so goddamn good to watch. But Ricochet versus Logan Paul at SummerSlam. WWE's building this. Next week we're going to see more to it. I love it. This match is going to be awesome. And Ricochet versus Logan Paul is going to steal the show. Also I believe this is starting SummerSlam. I think this is guaranteed to start SummerSlam because of Logan Paul is going to be somewhere. It's got to be somewhere else that night because Logan Paul is a busy man. I think Logan Paul is going to beat Ricochet. I think Logan Paul is going to finally win. But I'm expecting that this match is a big talking point during the night. Next up, Shayna Baszler set up her match with SummerSlam for Ronda Rousey. But she really put an emphasis on the word fight. And there's only one thing that came to my mind. And this is the only match that they really should be having. A fight pit match. This is literally, you could literally almost call this the Shayna versus Ronda match. Because this is exactly where they should be fighting in. This is probably the most perfect fight pit scenario match in WWE history. This is where you need to have it. A normal submission match would bore the fuck out of me. You need to do Shayna versus Ronda in a fight pit, or else it's not going to live up to the hype. Next up, Drew versus Gunther Stare. Now, we knew it was going to be cinema. Drew was playing around. Drew talked about how it's his destiny. He talked about how WrestleMania, Gunther escaped. And it was a perfect promo. You know, Drew has been booked really good since his return. And the crowd is back. And Drew's really back to being heavily loved by the crowd. Like, really loved. And Gunther, and this turned into a Drew versus Kaiser match. Because Drew and Gunther, obviously, Gunther was like, okay, I'll face you, Drew, but not till SummerSlam, which we all expected. And Drew faced Kaiser that night. It was a great match. Drew won. And this wouldn't end because Gunther wanted to put Drew for the table. One last statement. And Drew was like, fuck no. I'm going to put you through the table. And this great shot of Drew holding the Intercontinental title. Obviously, I think Gunther's definitely winning. And I think, even though it would be a perfect time to put the title on Drew, Gunther's got to break the Honky Tonk Man's reign. Simple as that. Next up, we had the ending of Monday Night Raw, which was the contract signing, which was probably the record for the shortest contract sign before mayhem breaks loose. The Judgment Day surrounded the ring. The crowd didn't let Finn Balor talk, which I have my reservations about how some Seth Rollins fans can be absolutely, utterly annoying. And the Judgment Day surrounded the ring like the Shield did back in the old days. In the Nexus, and Seth Rollins got his ass beat. Sami Zayn tried to come in for some reason. Sami Zayn tried to avenge his friend KO. He got his ass beat. And the Judgment Day, and I thought this ending to Monday Night Raw was perfect. The Judgment Day giving the indication, like, it doesn't matter what's going to happen. The Judgment Day is going to win anyways. And it was a great ending. Seth got laid out. But the image that we're all talking about is this one. You know, Damian Priest was seriously thinking about cashing in at Money in the Bank, or not Money in the Bank, was cashing in right there in that moment. And Finn's like, hey, bro, we had that agreement. You can't cash in on the World Heavyweight Championship. This is mine. And again, this is just a perfect shot because, you know, obviously, everyone could turn this shot in right here into their own theories. Mine is that Finn Balor actually becomes World Heavyweight Champion. He doesn't get cashed in on. And Damian Priest waits to cash in on Balor. You know, Damian Priest has already made up his mind that he's going to turn on Balor, but he's got to wait. And Damian Priest is willing to wait for the perfect opportunity to turn on Balor to become World Heavyweight Champion and break up the Judgment Day. But that won't happen until later down the road. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like Monday Night Raw? Let me down in the comments what your favorite match at SummerSlam that got set up specifically tonight was, and I'll see you all in the next one.